sure.
That's what I love. Yes. Okay, because it's not for anything
Absolutely.
promotional. It's simply to get to other people to hear your story. And I'm always interested in hearing your story. And I couldn't believe what you sent me in the text message. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness, I have to hear about that. And so if you can actually tell me, Victoria, what it is that you actually said in your message.
Oh, that I was acting?
Yeah. And I'm like
Oh.
going, wow, when did that happen?
Well, last year I did, very early in the year, I always wanted to act and I wanted to be a travel agent when I was very young. Okay, so I got the travel agent deal first, right? I always get what I want to do
Yep.
because that's what you do. But you got to work at it. You just can't sit there and wait for it to come to you, right?
No, no, you can't.
So I did the travel agent thing, and now I'm nearly 65.
Thank you.
And I thought last year I want to do something different, and I want to do this, be an actress. Well, I wanted to be a movie star, but who knows? It could come still. You never know.
It's never too
But I
late.
always wanted to try it. Yeah, so I thought, okay, I did a short course at the community college,
Okay.
which was just one day, with 3 hours a week for 8 weeks. And it was a great little teacher. It gave you a bit of, background and the terms, so you understand the terms, that sort of thing. It
Yeah.
was a pretty basic, fundamental acting thing. And then after that, I thought, oh, I'll just learn a little bit more. And I learned about lighting. I learned about, wearing things with no logos and all those sorts of things you want to do. So I joined a backstage.com, actually,
Okay.
which is a worldwide platform. There's all sorts of platforms to get work. Uh, and I've learned so much, not only just doing film. The first thing I did was a University of Texas film, short film. So the
Wow.
graduates of directors and filmmakers, where they want to put it into a film festival the next year, which is held every year at the moment, called South by Southwest. And so all LA directors, producers, people, all that will come out and discover new talent, not just actors, but, directors, producers, all these sorts of things. So the first thing I did was a great little piece with a guy who was a true story, little story about him. And I played a therapist in a mental hospital. Uh, maybe I should have admitted myself. Ha ha ha. But it was a great story, and it really happened to him. And I was really passionate about it. And he was such a lovely person, and how he evolved and how good he's doing now. And so that was my first little film.
Wow. How
It
long
was
did that
fun.
film go for?
It was a short film, so it was about a 30-minute film by the time they did that. And there was a 3-day shoot, which was easy. It was just learning lines because I get older and you're like learn lines. So I had weeks, and I remember doing my walks outside, and I'd be in my head learning the lines out loud and expression and everything. And then sometimes someone would come running past and look at me like I was kind of crazy. But they didn't know I was just learning my lines. But it
Wow.
was a great experience.
What a journey. So,
I was nervous. I was super nervous because, the crew they had there was about 15 crew and a small room, and all the things that you didn't know or you see. And a lot of things I've learned since then is all the different things I've done is how hard, it's hard work.
excellent.
And there's very little time on film. Most of it is like waiting around or repositioning, and lots of hours spent doing that type of thing. But it's
Yeah.
fun.
So the
Yeah.
respect for, the actresses and all the other people that are behind the scenes, you have obviously a lot more respect for. But what I wanted to
Yeah.
do with this today is actually take you through a series of questions. You've actually probably answered all of them in that little
Oh,
summary, right?
sorry.
No
In my
need,
big mouth.
no need to be sorry. I love the introduction, right? Because it's like, what were you doing, just before you actually went and did this course? Like, what was going on in life for you?
Ooh. Life was a little challenging.
Good. Tell me,
I
tell me.
had I had a personal situation, has kind of resolved somewhat, but it has was difficult. And I thought, what am I going to do with my life? And prior to that, I'd lost my husband,
Yeah.
my late husband.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty tough. And in a country where, I have been before but I had no family, I had no help. I was in a pretty dire situation and really not many money really to speak of.
Yeah.
And so things evolved as they do. And I don't know how, but I always know if you do the right thing um, to others, it will always come back to you. And that's actually what happened to me in the short term.
And so
Yeah.
that's your
Yeah.
motto that you live by. And I live by the same motto, so I love it. Yes, do unto others what you would do unto yourself, kind of thing. So
Very simple.
you said that you wanted to do travel agents and then you wanted to do acting, but it's come in that order. But what inspired you? What was the one thing that inspired you to hop on this career into acting?
Yeah, great. Because I always wanted to do it, but I wanted to, due to the negative things that had happened in
Yep,
my life of recent times, and I lost a lot of my self-confidence, my self-esteem.
yep.
And I thought this would be a great way to force myself to build my confidence. And that's why I did the course to begin with. And
Confident.
it wasn't, and that was challenging, very challenging. And it was fun though. And I got to meet new people. I got to see I got to learn. I love to learn. I think if you stop learning your males, like, what's the point?
That's right.
You know, yeah. You do the same thing every day and you don't learn anything and it's so boring and I don't understand that. So that was one reason I wanted to learn more. Two, I wanted to meet new people, but three, mostly I wanted to build back my self-esteem and confidence, which has happened.
Wow. Self-esteem and confidence.
Yeah.
I'm so all about that as well. Love building that and confidence in women, especially because we're not, we don't lead with that. And that's from generations
Mm.
back as well. But when you talked about your first acting experience that you did, your first little job, and that it was, momentous for you because you love the guy that you work with. And thank you for
Yeah.
introducing your first experience with that. What I want to know is in that whole instance, that 30-minute film that was the 3-day expedition, how
Mm.
did it shape you to go further with this passion?
I guess I was lucky too that they were a great crowd to work with, and they're all very young, so young. They're all, university graduates, and I'm like, really old. And they thought I was cool because I have an Australian accent, so, because I'm in America, yay. But it wasn't just that. It's just, I always act like a child sometimes. Well, don't always, but, I'd like to have fun with it. And I also like to mentor, which is
Yeah.
kind of also very good fun. Um, why did I continue is I wanted to, because I knew there were so many other things out there. There wasn't just film. There's user-generated content that you can do from home. There's testimonials. There are so many different platforms and things you can do. So I have been doing them all.
Wow.
And I mean, I've actually got one today. I'm going, oh, I really got to do voiceovers. What am I going to do with this? And you ask the questions, ask the right questions, and I even did a model shoot, which is weird, a few weeks ago. So that was hilarious because I thought, well, a model shoot, come on, look at these wrinkles, you got to be kidding. And but the funny thing is, and this is what I want to actually say, is about women and getting older. I don't care if you think you don't look good. You look at yourself and when you're doing these at the beginning and you're doing self tapes, which you have to do, and you look at you go, oh God, I look dreadful. Oh God, is there anything I can do? What can I do to improve myself? This looks dreadful. You often have the wrong opinion of yourself. People see you in a completely different way. And that made me think a lot. And more I've done it, the more I don't even take any notice anymore. That's just me. You get me. And this is how I am.
I love that. And, it's a level that you've got to reach to do that. And you're right, we do that back chat to ourselves a lot, especially in this kind of world as well. And the judgment that comes with that, is also because you've built your confidence, that self-doubt and that judgment's kind of going out the window. But when you look at, you've done a model shoot, like, wow, wonderful, beautiful. And as an artist, I love drawing women, and I love drawing women for the roles and the wrinkles, because that, drawing that, getting the shading and the depth in a person, it tells who that person is. And so all those little bits of forms of the skin, and as a massage therapist as well, feeling all that sort of stuff too that I've done. When you do that model shoot, the person who's taking that photograph, they're looking at you as an artistic piece.
Yeah, exactly. And I will tell you that one I did, I looked up, like, oh my gosh, oh. They send you the results of some of these things. Quite a lot of the times you don't get the results of what you've done, because sometimes they just pay you and it goes off somewhere into the Ethernet, into the internet, so to speak. But this one, I was looking, oh gosh, do I really look that bad? Oh, and she said, oh, you're perfect, you're perfect. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with her? She's insane. She's paid me $400 for this. What? But it's sometimes, and it's always the thing about about yourself. And I want to sort of say something to for older women, particularly too, about that. Yeah, you might look great when you were younger, which, I believe I was told I was. And then you get older and you don't look quite the same anymore, and you critique yourself on what you think you used to look like. And that's a bad thing to do, actually. It's just, but it's because, that's the way it was. But you change that with more of this, and like I said, each time it's confidence building, no matter what I do.
Every day.
Continues that way.
Every job.
Every day.
So with the transition from, being a travel agent throughout your life and to hopping onto the career of acting, do you think the travel agent life that you had and the job and all the stuff associated helped you in your acting career?
Oh, this is a good question.
Oh,
Because I didn't do travel agent all my life. I've done a bunch of other things. And I climbed a huge, big ladder for a big corporation. I've done all this. I feel like, yes, because you have to act from the day you start working. I'm afraid to say.
yeah. There you go. Like, so we're actors in our own life, no matter what job we've taken on. So that's a fantastic answer, because we when we go into scenarios that hold us back from life, when we go back and look at it, we're actually looking at a bunch of actors that used to be there. They're not there now. So you're looking at this screen of your life all the time. So I love that. That's a wonderful answer. So what I want to know next is, what were some of the biggest challenges that you've faced during the transition to where you are now?
That is a huge question, because I've had so many.
So
challenges.
maybe picking the ones that really drove you to this spot. So besides, I know that we've lost the husband, and we found ourselves in a position, but what was that challenge in you, besides circumstantial and situational, that you had to push through?
Fear.
It's good. And what was that fear?
Or can I really do it? Can I really do it? Am I going to be any good at it? Will anyone want me to do this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very simplistic, but it's like anything that I've ever tried. And this is the other point I want to make is, when you start something, you're going to learn. You're going to tumble, fumble, mess up, blah. You're not going to be perfect on day one.
No.
No one's ever perfect on day one, and I think that's holds a lot of people back. It's fear of failure.
Yeah. Good. And so you think, you started with that, and that was a challenge that you've obviously pushed through. You still may question yourself that sometimes, because I'm sure it sometimes bubbles up to the surface, because it's until you've got that ultimate confidence of, which I think you're very much getting to, is I don't care what I'm looking like. I don't care what's on screen. I don't think about it anymore. That level is outweighing all of those fears, because you're in for it for the fun. You're in for it for the experience, but you're also in for it for the learning.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want, you know, as an inspiration for me, you're definitely an inspiration for me that, you know, we can just keep going and we can keep living and we can keep experiencing, we can keep doing things that we become passionate about, because you would have to have this passion for acting that's there originally. And you know, there's a lot of people who would like to be in the drama or be in the choir or all those sorts of things, which are similar as well. And you talked about that there's many fields, so it's not just acting. You're doing voiceovers. Like, wow, you know, I want to do like read the audio books for people, and get on there and do that once. I think that would be great. So you talked about your training, and it was online, but it wasn't necessary. Would you call it formal training, or was it just general training?
Training wasn't online, it was in person.
Okay, great. I was
Yeah.
thinking that it was
So I went to the community college and we actually, you know, had actors. We were all doing, and we had projects we had to do for the next classes. So it was intense and it was great. And it was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. And even in a bunch of 15 people, you know, you're having to do your thing. And the teacher was brilliant. She's, you know, that always helps when you've got a great teacher, to do this. But it's not just that, because I'm still being challenged, and I love to be challenged, because yes, it can frighten you. Oh gosh, you know, the heart's going and you're thinking, oh, and you think, can I do this? Oh, and you're trying to act like calm and like normal, and you're underneath, you're going, oh my God, can I really do this? Can I get through this? So it's like anything that is, once you overcome that, and then you do that, and then it becomes, oh, I know how to do this now. That's great. But you don't want to be stuck with that. You want to be able to keep moving forward and forward and forward, doing something new all the time. And there's plenty out there that's new. And the other thing is not to be scared of rejection.
That's another fear.
Because,
yeah.
Oh, and I put so much out there. I treat it like a job. It's a numbers game. You put it out there. If you don't hear, often you won't even hear back. You know, that's the industry, you know. But sometimes you do. But saying, oh, I'm sorry, but you're not right for the part, but for next time we'll look at you. But you really get that. So you don't even worry about that. You just keep churning it out, your applications, just like you're doing a job.
Good. And it is. And that's it. It is, you know, as a job as well. And so that first experience you had, you know, and you've done a few now since then, is there any other memorable experience from one of those acting projects that sits with you?
Well, I got a funny one.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, no, it is actually. It was one for, I did an acting gig at a strip club.
Woo!
And of course, when I was telling my friends I did an acting at a strip club, I said, you know, those heels and whizzing around that pole, I'm getting too old for that, you know. And they'd be looking at me going, oh my God, why do you really do it? No, I was a patron for a country music video of all things.
Wow.
In a strip club. And it was fun, it was hilarious, we're throwing money at the girls, all this sort of thing. And the guy was a great singer, and he's putting out he's touring, and because in Austin, there's a lot of music, country music people here. So I thought that was some of them are fun because you don't expect to be sitting in a nightclub with all the music on at 9 o'clock in the morning.
True.
with a drink stuck in your hand, going, I got to drink this at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I always wonder if it's real drink or it's just coloured water.
Well, I thought it was water actually, because mine looked like water until I took the straw and went, what's in that? Are they trying to loosen us up here or what?
I was going to say a little bit of Dutch courage, yes.
Yeah, I know. Go on, sorry.
That was a funny one. So has there been anyone that has been your favourite so far?
It has to be the first one.
Wow, isn't that interesting? And the first one is because it was your first one, and such a great experience as well.
Yes.
And is there any particular like roles or genres that you're drawn to, or do you just like anything? There is?
I will do anything. I'm okay with that. But generally I'm drawn to they seem to like me as a therapist.
Oh, Isn't that interesting?
or a psychologist. So
What
I don't know because I think quite naturally I am like that. I always like to find out about people and then I try to sort of see how where they're about and find out why they're not doing this and basically what psychologists do. So I think that's a natural, it comes naturally. But I do like to do silly ones. I did a silly one. Oh yeah, that was fun. That was a good fun one actually. It was different. This was taken. I was trying to get a television on top of a truck not at the not in the it's like one of those truck things with a with the open back.
Yes.
And I was bought this TV and I'm in a shopping center, car park on the outside, and I'm trying to get this thing on the top, but I have to put it on top of the little cabin roof. I'm supposed to be stupid, right? I'm supposed to look stupid. And I've got this rope and I'm trying to pull the rope through and I'm not, and the TV's falling off. I'm trying to get the TV in the back, pretending it's heavy. It's not a TV, it's just the box, TV box. And I must have been doing a good job because in the first minute, this lady comes running up, she says, "Oh my God." She said, you can't be doing that. You need help. And I laughing, going, and I said, "Oh, we're just filming actually." And she went, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So I said, "I think I've nailed it, right?" And he said, "Yeah." So it was funny. It was stupid. It was embarrassing stupid. And that's on the internet, but you can't really see me too much on my face.
Oh, look,
Enjoy.
that is so much fun. But yeah, look, you got great validation there as well. That's from real life. I love that. So what I'd
Yeah.
like to know is a little bit about, this goes into a bit of personal growth. So how has acting influenced your personal growth and your self-awareness now?
Uh, More not to worry about what everyone around you is doing,
Mhm.
meaning not relying on them, one, for either time, companionship when you need it, those sorts of things. I kind of guess I'm more carving out me and not worrying about everybody else. Because that I tend to do that. And I tend to stop for everybody else. Oh, I can't do that tomorrow because they need help with this, or they need me for this, or those sorts of things too. So I've stopped doing that. I'm pulling back. I'm not being such a people pleaser as I was.
And sometimes that also comes in the form of a rescuer. And as women, we're naturally nurturing and we want to help people. And as that therapist role that we play in acting and off screen, at the same time, we're always wanting to do that. And sometimes we take away from ourselves what we really need at the cost of ourselves to do that. So
Mhm.
that is an immense growth and learning.
And the other thing is the draining of your energy.
Yeah, yeah, because you're giving it away.
And
And
you realize you've got nothing left
no, when
yourself.
you can't operate from a bucket that's empty. You can only operate from
Correct.
the bucket or the cup that's full of love.
Correct.
That is. And so,
Yeah.
what have you learned about yourself through your acting journey? Has there been any other learning that you've experienced as you've gone along?
Yes. One, you can do anything if you want. It's only you who limits yourself.
Okay. It's pretty big.
Yeah, that's what I've learned.
I felt it.
Yeah,
So, what is
yeah,
it
yeah. It's
that,
only you. It's only what you tell yourself up here.
and the stories we tell ourselves? So, what is
Oh, we can make up a bunch of stories, can't we? Oh, you can't do this because self-limiting and those sorts of things. And understand me, and I'll add this to it because I
okay.
do suffer from chronic fatigue, and I have for many, many years.
Yeah.
And it's a thing you have to manage, and it's not always easy because you never know on what day. And if that you're really pushing it,
Yeah.
or you can't do anything at all. I mean, that has happened. And I've had a couple of gigs where I've had to pull out before it started.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Oh, can't do that because it was bad. And it's not to get all upset about that and think I'll never be able to do anything again. It's just you just keep pushing forward. And I've stopped worrying about whether that's going to happen. In fact, that was in the forefront of my mind. Now I've pushed it back. If it happens, bad luck, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way you got to look at it.
And I love
Otherwise, you will never end up doing anything.
no, because you just keep stopping yourself, and that you know, pushing forward always, because that's what life is all about, is continually moving forward and not getting stuck, because you've done stuck at times. So would you say that that was the one thing that actually held you back at first?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Apart from my lack of confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think, you know, coming into the world, coming into the acting world, because they're all worlds, right? We've got the World Wide Web
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
we've got the acting world, and we've got the corporate world, all those sorts of worlds. So what is it that you think are some common misconceptions about the acting industry that you think other people have?
Misconceptions are you have to be a certain way. Perhaps you have to have false boobs and the whole, I'm sorry, but you know, the whole dolled up thing and have the full on makeup and the hair dyed. I mean, my hair's natural, right? It's great.
Beautiful.
And it stays that way. And I ain't changing it for anyone, unless they want to pay me. If they want to pay me a fortune, well, maybe I might think about it. But it's just be yourself. They love it when you're yourself. In fact, they look more for people that are natural and real than
Wow.
they do for people that are acting or over projecting. And that's what I learned, just to be myself. And if I'm not, if something's not designed for me or it's not a part for me, then it's not meant for me. And I move on.
Yeah.
Be
So
yourself. In fact, with everything you do, be yourself.
yeah, true, true. And that's authentically being you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you
Which won't
answered my
change.
next question, which was, you know, how you handle rejection and criticism in such a competitive field, and you're pushing forward and you just be yourself, you know. So that's and we talked about rejection earlier. You know, it was one of those fears that come up, but you've already addressed that. So I'm going to move into the next bit, which is basically future projection, right? These aspirations for future. So, what are some of your goals? Or aspirations for your acting career in the next few years? What are some things that you'd like to tick off?
Uh, I wouldn't mind doing a major film,
Wow.
not short film. That would be pretty good. Um, I'm not saying leading role or anything of that sort. I'm kind of at a point that's not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Not like just to be involved
Yep.
in the whole process. That's what I'd like. I'd enjoy that. And then I get to meet again people from all different walks of life. And there's a lot of downtime where you get to learn about different people and between what you do and the filming. So I think that would be good on a national or international basis. That would be a bit of fun. But actually, quite frankly, at the moment, I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, and because you've got a lot of variety going on.
That's it. As long as I have the variety and I'm always learning and learning different. So to do that, you do have to push yourself forward into areas that you're a bit unsure of or you haven't experienced or you don't really know a lot about.
Yeah.
That if you keep doing that, then the opportunities are endless.
And you're so forward. I love how forward, because I'm like going, oh, she's just answered that one too. So
Sorry.
it's about, you know, offering advice to other aspiring women who, you know, over 50s, we'll call them. Um, you know, what advice would you give to someone who is considering, you know, a new career where they've basically retired, or they've had a similar situation to you, and it's sort of like the next, what's next?
What's my
What
next chapter? What's the next chapter?
what
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone?
And I think this would be applicable also to people of any age, but I would say don't doubt yourself. On anything you think you might want to try, don't doubt yourself. First of all, if you think go and get a little bit of education or do some research on what you want to do
Mm.
on it. And if you feel that you've got enough or you feel that you feel slightly comfortable to try it, then off you go. But you've got to be uncomfortable to try it in the first place.
Which is sitting in the discomfort. I love that.
because it doesn't feel, and it is sometimes. I've done it so many times. Just I feel, oh gosh, I feel so out of place, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, should I really be here? What am I doing? Am I crazy? I don't know. Well, so yeah. I mean, all this self-talk rolls around, rolls around, rolls around. The other bit goes, oh, you can do this, Vic. You can do this, and it's just a matter of pushing forward, even if it's a bit painful sometimes,
Yeah,
because you really will feel so much better about yourself and everything around you as well. You'll have a much better outlook and
because
perspective.
we get that kind of little feeling of feeling unsafe. You know, when you're at that point, you're kind of unsafe before you take that first step. And it doesn't matter if it's a leap or if it's a tiny little dabble the toe in the water, which is a little bit of the learning to try it on to see if it fits who I am. Do I feel okay in this? You know, here I am
Yeah.
trying it, but it's not killing me, so I should be able to move forward. So,
Yeah. But the thing is, your other alternative is to sit there and doing what you've always done. And as a wonderful friend of mine who's long gone now said, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten.
yep, it's a beautiful saying. Love it. So if you're
Mm.
still sitting there on that chair, you're going to be sitting there on that chair 5 years from now.
And then you're going to say, why didn't I do this 5 years ago?
Yes, we do.
I
We do
mean, but
reach
it's
that.
true.
It is. We reach that point. So how would you say, you know, where you are now and what you're doing, how important is networking and building those relationships to you?
That's also a very good question. Networking is important to a point, but I am doing also so many remote testimonials and commercials that are all, I film them remotely on my phone.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
They do that. So you can do that. I've got a little bit of lighting. You don't need a lot of money to do this. It's just really easy to do. And then you've got a script and you deliver that. It might be a product. Tomorrow I'm getting a product delivered to me. And
Wow.
it's where I will film that and using this product. It's for neuropathy. And you put a cream on and do that, all this. And so you do all that and they pay you to do that. So you don't have to always go out and do the whole big thing. You can do this and you can earn some nice money out of it as well.
In your own home. Like, yeah, in your own space where you actually feel comfortable, but you're also doing something uncomfortable because
Uncomfortable.
you got to send it away and
That's
hundreds of
exactly
thousands
right.
of people might see it. So,
That's exactly right.
and would you say that you're building and are starting to build or have been building relationships from this experience?
Yes, I have. Yeah. So I've had two that have come back to me and want me to do more testimonials with two companies. So that's terrific. And through the platform I've gone through, there are all sorts of different platforms you can, register online. But a lot of the casting agents, I don't have a casting agent. I don't have an agent.
Mm.
So I use this platform because casting agents use that platform to find talent or people. And I've got all the reels set up. If everything's set up correctly, you've got the proper resume of everything you've done. And the more you do, the better it looks. And the other thing is more of the reels you have. I got rid of some of my reels from mid last year or later last year because they were like, oh, I can do much better than that now. And so I put the newer reels on because you get better as you go.
Yes.
As you go
Update.
on, you just get better as you go on.
You do. And it's about getting that confidence in front of the camera as well. And because you bought it, so what is the site that you go to that you're talking about?
Oh yeah, it's very good. It's backstage.com.
Yeah. And so that's the
And it's
platform.
it's it's international. It's international. So they look for talent everywhere.
It's just so
It's a
people.
great, you know what? It's pretty cheap. They offer it. Sometimes it's only 200 a year, but they'll do deals like $99 for a year. And I mean, I'm more than a lot of money out of that. So it's well worth it. I would recommend it highly.
Because it's had such positive influence in your life as well. So does it take up a lot of time, like where you've got your personal life and the demands of doing the job, which is the acting career? How do you find that balance?
Um, it's interesting because this is so it can be all on and then there's nothing and then there is bits and pieces. It's not like a regular job. It's not like a regular schedule.
Yeah.
You can't rely. And I'm always been a very scheduled person,
This is good.
meaning, everything like routine person.
Yep.
So this has been very different for me because I have to be extremely flexible. You've got to move at a minute's notice. They might all suddenly pull a shoot back or, push it forward and you've got to juggle things. And so you've got to take each day as it comes. And any time that you have on your own, you go do your thing or what we do with your family, whatever, you do that. But that is part of what this is. And it's unpredictable and it's, yeah, very unpredictable.
I love
And you just got
that.
to roll with it.
And
Roll with it.
and that's really living in the now, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can't be worried about what's going to happen next week or what happened last week or yeah, no, you too. It's just a revolving door that keeps moving and that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I, I
And I think
never
there's a
get
lot.
I never get bored.
No, no, we don't want it. And that's the thing that people get to, because I think my husband had this thing where we went away on holidays over to
Yeah.
Tassie, and he got there and he was like, how do people do this? And I went, do what? How do people sit down when they're retired, relaxing on a holiday and do nothing? How do they do that? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, we're doing it right now, and I guess you don't
Yeah.
like it, right? So, you don't want to be sitting down doing that. So, you don't want to get bored. And that's exactly what obviously was happening there for that. So, doing something like this, an inspiration to women all over. So, what I'd like to know is what is it that you do to unwind and relax when you're not doing your job?
Oh, it's funny. I am such a people person and I'm so like this. Oh, shut down, leave me alone. So I just like watch a movie. I don't want to talk to anybody. I might go for a walk. All I want to do everything by myself.
Yeah.
Why?
So
Not my husband, anything. I just need my time out, and that's what I do.
it's
It's
beautiful.
sort of like rejuvenation period, and just let your mind settle a bit. But I do love walking. I'm like a big walker. Love my walks.
It all fills up your cup. You're in nature. You've got you're allowed to
Mm.
fill up your vibration again, because you've done a lot of giving, even in your acting and stuff, because you've got to give of yourself even in that. And bits and
Yeah.
pieces would be flying everywhere. So what I'd like to know here is, do you have any final thoughts? So is there anything else you'd like to share about your journey, or any upcoming projects or things that you're excited about?
Ooh. Um, I'm just excited about life. I'm excited about learning and continuing to do so until the day I drop. Because I keep saying anyone that just stops in their steps doing what they, I can never retire. Let's put it that way. I could never retire.
Yep.
I won't. I refuse to. Because one, you meet people, and on your way, what I love, the older you get and the more experiences you've been through, the more you can help others. The young, oh, I've been through that. Hey, I tried this. This has worked for me. Might not work for you. You don't know. But, and maybe just a sentence that you say, and I've had that happen before where people, a long time, I might have said something I've forgotten, and they've come up and said, if it wasn't for you saying that, I wouldn't have done this. So I think that's one of the best things in the world. And that's why while I'm learning, I'm teaching.
Yep, you
And
certainly are.
that's
And you're doing that today.
that's my thing. And I love it. If I continue to do that, then I'm happy.
Again, you're a woman after my own heart, because I'm the same. I could never see myself retiring either, because there is just so much that this world has to offer, and there's always learning to do, and it doesn't matter where you're doing it, and life is going to keep evolving, especially with what we have in front of us where we're online, and
Yes.
but also the world is such a smaller place these days, because we know each other, we know so much more about each other, and we can connect
Do,
so
don't we?
easily, and there's no more PayPal pen, you're my messenger friend.
That's right. I know. Back in the day. Oh gosh. But I mean, you're brilliant though. I love what you do and how you help people, particularly how you help women. Um, you're an inspiration yourself.
Thank you, as you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And
Good. Well,
I would do you have like any saves to your, can we go visit you and look at something that you've done?
Oh, we can go to backstage. People keep asking me this, and sometimes a lot of the stuff is going, it pops up. So a lot of it will pop up on Instagram, or if there's a news article, you get on the internet and there's a news video of something, or
Yep.
and I've had what with the last one I did. It's a news video about something on, I don't know if it was Fox News, ABC, NBC, something like that. And then all of a sudden this ad will pop up, and there you are for 5 seconds in the amongst a very quick thing, and it says, when it says you can skip the ad in 4 seconds, and most
Yeah.
people would skip it. Skip it. That's the sort of thing I've got a lot of the time on in. The UT film that I did last year is still not finished post-production yet.
Wow.
And they
But
were
it's
in the
coming.
film festival this year, but it's ready. So, I mean, some things don't come way after. And remember, I only started last January. So a lot of my things are not like, can't go to the TV and watch me, that kind of thing. And
No.
I half the time don't know if they're going to pop up where.
Oh, okay. So we know your face, right? We can actually look at the pop-up and go, would be Victoria. But
I mean, unless I was on a big feature film that's going to come out, well, yeah, and that can happen. And that's when, as I said, that's the next step that I'll head for. And I will say, because I keep, I know that chronic fatigue sits in the background, and I know it does happen. It doesn't just sit there. Sometimes it'll rear its little ugly head. And I look at those long stretches of 12-hour days,
yeah.
and that I'm still trying to grapple with a bit. So, that's my next kind of goal. Becky, you'll get there. Start with a 3-day, 12-hour thing, and then let's work it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the appreciation that you now have more for the industry itself and how much it takes to get to, that half an hour film, let alone a
Amazing.
2.5
Yeah.
hour film, that must take a chronic amount of time.
And
Um,
a lot of people, a lot of effort, a lot of people, and a
yeah.
lot of effort.
I went and recently did a model shoot like yourself did, and the lady who was doing my makeup, she worked on the Neighbours set
Oh
for
yeah.
15 years, and so she did all the actors and actresses that were, or actors as we call them now. She did all their, so I knew I was in extremely good hands. She, of course, did did her magic.
That's it.
But my goodness, she has got a plethora of stories to tell about the neighbors.
Yes.
And so,
Oh, I'm sure you
well, even those people in that industry are such wonderful people to talk to and connect to as well, and building those relationships. So that's,
have. I've actually made a friend of one of a makeup artists, actually. Yeah,
yeah,
she did my makeup. And we just got on, and she said so many stories, and I have so many stories. And then she said, we need to cook up. I went, okay, great. And, it's good because then you can make new friends. And it also in a different country. One thing I will say about added thing that I had an issue with too was coming to a new country where, and I'd had this happen a long time, where you've come from somewhere and you're kind of treated like you got a funny voice, one, and second that you not really might not be that smart or done anything in your life, and that's, yeah, you're not quite as good as we are, and I kind of succumbed to that in the beginning because I thought, oh God, maybe I'm not. Oh, maybe they're so much smarter than I am. Oh, I started to doubt myself again. And then off I went to find out I knew more than they could, I could run rings around them. And that's when I realized a lot of it was talk, and it wasn't really what they could do. So I ignore it and just do my
it's
thing.
breaking through the societal and geographical barriers that are formed in a town or in a country or in a state even, because certain states are known for certain, Texas and are known for this, and then, Canada's known for that and all that sort of stuff. And we have a stigma. So it's getting
Yeah.
through that stigma as well. And in Australia, we have the tall poppy syndrome as well. So, the we love the Aussie battler. But
Yeah.
as someone aspires to do something, we're sort of shooting them down.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
what I wanted to know is what is the final thing that you would like to say as an inspirational word or something that comes from you that you would love to share right now, just to end things off?
Never give up. That's it. Simple.
That's wonderful. And what I wanted to do now is just thank you, Victoria, for your time. Like, wow,
Thank you, Michelle.
what an inspiration. And it has been, a beautiful journey today. And we wish you well. And I'm going to see more. And it was backstage.com is for people who want to start up. But I'm gathering that is also with or without any acting experience.
Correct. Yes, they want that. Sometimes they ask for people just anyone non-acting. So give it a shot.
Beautiful.